Okay,
Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:06 and I'll call this budget committee meeting to order. If we don't mind doing a roll call introduction around the table for anybody that might be on Zoom or watch one of the YouTube videos of the meeting, it is useful for the online participation to hear our voices with our names.
Jerry Henry at large.
Brian Schoonover, Ackworth.
Garrett Neal at large.
Amanda Chafee, Langdon.
Suzanne Clark, Elfin.
Jamie T. Board appointee.
Thank you. Review and approval of minutes from the March meeting. Was
Said them a million years ago. I
It's
said
okay.
them yesterday.
was everybody able to review them?
Yes.
Do you guys want me to read through, does the committee want me to read through the minutes, or do we wanna just
No,
take a
no.
motion and move on?
I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, because that would be my preference more often than not.
No, we don't. We have
Okay, on follow-up. And 2025-2026 calendar, was everybody able to see what Jamie put together for us?
Oh, no, it was really late today.
I did not see that.
I just sent it out this afternoon or this morning, I don't even know. And it's been sent to, I'm sorry.
No, you're
How
fine.
formal you wanna be.
Actually, Amanda and I have had a conversation about that. If we're good, we'll drift off the agenda for a second.
Sure.
Philosophically, I feel that this is a committee that should have a lot of constructive conversations and less formalities.
Okay.
But we should also do need a bare minimum of formality. So I'm fine with the informalness. But with that being said, if it goes too far, anybody in the committee thinks we've gotten too loosey-goosey, somebody's more than welcome to step up as a parliamentarian or whatever and say this, that, or the other. Cause it just needs to be a balance, but loosening up the reins, I think, will allow us to do our jobs a little bit better, having good conversation and get the work done, so to speak.
Just to follow up, and I agree, other than maybe if we're in public session and there are people present.
Yeah.
We've got a big group or something.
Yeah,
Easier to keep it a little more formal, but yeah, so I'll try
Absolutely.
not to interrupt you.
if it's relative, well, I mean, if we all start talking over each other, obviously I'll rein it in, but it does let. The formalities make things take so much longer also.
So, well, good. To the calendar.
Before you do that, just for attendance.
Yeah.
I did get an email from Chris, he's not gonna be able to attend.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's great.
I have a hard copy of the calendar right in front of me if anybody needs it.
So to your point on the calendar, it was just sent this morning. Anything in pink is for Misty to take a look at and update. I could probably back into all the timeframes because I've done it before, but I didn't want to step on any toes, so. I filled in what ours would have been based on the prior years, so I'm gonna say. Everybody should probably review it before the next meeting and come with any, potential issues so we can push them forward backwards.
Yes.
There are 2 Saturdays listed, November and December, that's why they're highlighted in bold,
Haha,
okay?
I did not go days of the week. I glanced at it, it looks pretty good to me. Anybody else for any conversations or questions on the calendar?
Well, I will say that that November date is my birthday. I don't really want to discuss any budgets on my birthday. I will. But I might be salty about it.
So that's the 15th.
Yeah.
What's the next one out for the school board on that? Is it 2 weeks later? We could probably push that a week later then.
Or do you have a forum you can
Yeah,
live without me?
it's November, is that before the Saturday meeting or is that the Saturday meeting?
No, it's not. I don't know. I'll look at the calendar.
I'm gonna try to find mine because I'm
November 15th is Saturday.
11:15.
It's a Saturday.
Okay, so we might wanna push that out then,
And
although
when's
that's,
Thanksgiving?
yeah, that is.
Yes, just meet without me and Or we have to have cake, I don't know.
It's
I'm
it's,
okay with having cake.
Or both.
That's a pretty fair
November,
compromise to drag in
December.
here on a Saturday. I'll buy the cake if that's what it takes.
Yes. For those meetings, we usually have them, either done it in the Charlestown Library. We've also done it in the, what is it actually called? I always call it the Baker Building.
Langdon, it's a Langdon meeting room.
Yes, the Langdon Meeting Room. So we just have to, once we solidify those dates, we need to get those reservations.
Yeah, and then what do we have to do for the IT? Cause that's a meeting.
We
that-
don't,
We don't,
Oh, we don't need Kyle.
no,
Oh, cool.
I can bring in an owl if we wanted to try to do that, but the problem is that from from the Langdon location, internet spotty. From the Charlestown one, I can stream it with my phone.
yeah. It's always, they're still open to the public.
Yeah.
Always still open to the public,
But we never
but
stream
we
them.
haven't streamed them.
Okay, I just didn't know what the
Yeah.
protocol or expectation.
They're really work sessions. They're kind of like
Oh,
our
okay.
really in-depth work sessions on, okay, where are we and where do we want to go? Serious talks about, cuts, moves.
Potentially line by
Yeah,
line.
Yeah.
And if we can't get either one of those locations, I might be able to come up with a conference room
Sure.
from somebody.
Oh, yeah,
if I ask
Walpole,
them.
Charlestown. I mean, there's other locations, yeah. Yeah.
Any other discussion on the calendar before we move on?
What is that December date? For that sector,
The 6th,
December 6th? Similarly, my son's birthday is on the 3rd, so I have to plan things around.
Well,
Uh,
Saturdays aren't set in stone. I mean, we've pushed to Sunday
We have, but I didn't,
before.
Yeah,
I don't know what you guys think for feedback from last year for Sunday, but I like the Saturday better.
Okay.
I like it a lot better.
In the morning, right?
Yeah.
Instead of after.
And that's fine, and adjusting my schedule is not a problem, I just
Mhm.
need
Yeah.
to know to do it.
Yeah.
That's all.
those are far enough out if we need to shuffle them as we get closer, but we do owe people something, so this is great that we can pass this up the food chain and to others.
Yep.
All right, business manager financial report. I honestly got no idea what this is.
That's when they give a financial report at the school board level. We bring it down into the budget committee meeting. We did not have a report at the last school board meeting because the first school board meeting of the month now is gonna be a very short one, just to do very anything that's important that has to be acted on right away. Because of the withdrawal study committees right behind it. So we'll have a business report on the next one out.
Yeah.
So you'll see it in June for through that time period.
Is the second meeting of yours, guys? is
Will
the
be a
month?
full blown normal.
Is that on a reoccurring, like the,
It will be for through August, September timeframe, yeah. We'll be doing very minimal work on the first meeting of the month, which is the second Monday. And then we'll probably have marathon meetings on the fourth Monday of the month.
the fourth Monday of the month? That will be the big one, cool.
Okay,
Okay, so none at this time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'll look back, I'm sorry, we probably had one, Garrett, I didn't even think about it. We probably had one while I was away, so I'll look back to see what we had, and if I find one that you guys wouldn't have seen, because we didn't meet in April, I'll send it out.
perfect, thank you. Next under follow-up is MS 22. Jamie, I might have to defer to your expertise.
So the MS-20, I don't remember what we were gonna follow up with, I probably was supposed to bring a copy. The MS-22 form is the form that is filed based on appropriations as voted. Okay, so they'll take the MS-22 form and they run it all the way through. It shows all the warrant articles added together into the general fund base budget. And then it breaks it down by departmental codes, so you know where the bulk of the different dollar amounts lie. And that gets filed, signed by the board and filed with Department of Revenue Administration, we call it DRA. And then they will look through that and approve it at the DRA level. And then come probably October, once the DOE 25 is done, that's the report that comes off the end of year financials. Once that report's done, your DOE is filed, then you can set your tax rate. So you set your tax rate, after an MS 25 is filed, you do an MS 26, that's the tax rate, but they look at that MS 22 to pull the total budget numbers off of. That's your formal filing for your budget appropriations as voted.
So this is something we should probably
We,
table to
yeah.
next month.
Let's
and
take a
keep it
look
on
at
the
it.
agenda,
Yeah.
review it next.
yeah, we'll pull it in, so everybody, we can look through it. It won't be broken, it's not broken down by town at that point. It goes in as one whole big budget. It'll get broken down by town appropriation in the fall when you go to set tax rate. Because off of the DOE 25, which is the report of the budget as ended the prior year. Any surplus money yeah, they have fund balance, any unassigned, I'm trying to use the right words, any unassigned fund balance that comes off that report. Then follows whatever we voted to go back out and get credited against whatever we have to raise for taxes. Okay, so important that DOE 25 gets done, find out what the balances are. How are they gonna split back out to the different towns? And how they're gonna offset the regular budget that we just approved. So it all kind of flows together.
Perfect, anybody got any questions on that before we move on?
I still know I owe you a budget 101. I found the date.
Oh,
I haven't gone back to look at for the films.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean you don't wanna do that tonight? That was next on the agenda.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay, what did we just, did we send out the agenda?
That was from last month and I didn't.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
This is what I have.
I didn't look.
Okay.
Sorry, it's been a little bit
Yeah.
of a blur since I left my job. How are you, Mr. Delesio?
How are you?
Right.
It's not raining.
It's
It's not really-
true. That's very true. Oh, there we go. Mhm. I was April 9th. Yeah. I honestly did look for it, whatever time it was this morning. Okay. No, I don't wanna do it.
Okay, we will,
I mean, I just kind of went through some of it. really
Yeah, no,
quick
that's fine.
For you. But we did a really great presentation on it that I would like to find that's taped. That went through all the different pieces in depth with questions that came in. So I found the date, I just have to find the tape of it.
so we'll move that on to next month.
So these are follow-up.
What's the?
I think the date was, I knew you were gonna ask me that, I wrote it down somewhere, hold on. I think, give me 1 second. So we're gonna do follow-up on the meeting calendar. Right?
Yeah.
On the MS 22. On the 2 AC. And 3. Alright. And then I sent out the old SWOT analysis that we had done. I didn't know, I think you saw it last year. I didn't know if everybody else had seen that.
I didn't.
Oh, you did it, okay.
It looks like it was, you guys did it before the elections. Got 228.
That's the date, 2/28. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't know that's what you were.
It was the same night, 2/28. If you don't have it, I have it on my system.
Hang on.
If you guys are doing the owl, I might have done the owl myself.
I was there with the.
Oh, you were? Oh, yes, lovely. Okay, if you can find it, we can go through it. Or not.
Do we want to jump on the SWOT analysis and then if Kyle finds it for us, we'll circle back?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
just my 2 cents on it. I did look at it and, you know, I think it's a good start. My thoughts is that, you know, since, you know, just seeing it a week or so, or a month or so ago,
Mhm.
really should be a live document where
Oh, yeah,
you review it frequently
okay.
and, you know, looking at some of the opportunities and threats. A lot of those are out of our control. So I don't know if we want to limit those to what we can control and actually create some action items. So we can review them and see if, you know, so we can resolve any weaknesses, exploit any opportunity, you know, avoid any of the threats. And, you know, but I mean, it's a lot to do in a little bit of time, but if we pick just a few opportunities, a few threats, a few of the weaknesses and try to, you know, create some action items and
Mhm.
act on them.
And I'm not sure. Do you recall, Amanda, did we share that with the school board?
I don't think we did. I don't remember if we
I'm
did.
gonna have to look at the March school board meeting to see if we brought that. That might be really cool if we did that, because then we could bring it to the school board even if we did a drafty one today, we could bring it to the school board at the next meeting. So that it would be fresh in their mind before they enter into their next round.
Yeah.
You know?
I really like Jerry's idea of removing anything we have no control over, because it just sounds like it could turn into a potential time sink.
What, under the weaknesses, controlling emotions, what does that even mean?
And we get kind of heated around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
A few of the meetings
Yeah,
that I observed via the internet,
yeah.
they weren't brawls.
Oh,
There was still decorum, but it was very passionate, I guess would be.
oh, all right,
Good way to put it.
okay.
And it wasn't just budget committee
No,
meetings, it was
it was
budget
not.
committee meetings with, I mean, the one I'm thinking of is the one that was in the cafeteria with some of our constituents. So.
Yeah.
Not really understanding what our complete role is and what information that we would have at our
I
fingertips,
see, okay.
potentially.
I guess that makes more sense,
Yeah.
all right.
That's the one that comes to mind.
Okay.
Does everybody understand SWOT analysis? You don't have to go over that.
I have a basic grasp of it, but I've never
Actually-
actually participated in one.
Okay, do you wanna do an
Yeah, go ahead.
overview of it?
Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can read strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And so what you wanna put, you know, it's exactly what it reads, you know, you wanna put down what your strengths are. And then conversely, what your weaknesses are. I did take notes, you know, weaknesses, strengths, what do you do better than what other people or what we do best, you know, weaknesses, what do we do worse? You know, where we can, do better. Opportunities, risks, there are two types of risks, there's opportunities and threats. So, you know, risk doesn't necessarily have to be bad. So opportunities, like, trying to think of a couple here that actually, I like, you know, budget process information, how does it work? You know, it's an opportunity to learn more about the process for the budgeting 101, you know, there's an opportunity there. Like we can create an action item, review the budget 101 that was presented, and that would help, you know, strengthen our, you know, ourselves here. And back to, you know, threats. You know, we wanna, you know, avoid them or mitigate them and just, those and I thought were, a lot of those were out of our control, so it was hard for us to work on. But, you know, one that came to my mind, that something that we could work on was some, you know, just government regulations.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's, I mean, it's out of our control.
yeah,
But if we can learn more about them and how it affects us, that could, you know, we could avoid or mitigate some risks there.
mhm. It's somewhat out of our control,
It
but
is.
not completely.
Right.
Right, cause we can notify them. But yeah, so based on that, you're right, and no offense, haven't meant. But I think some of our,
Welcome back.
some of our weaknesses and threats. Will have changed from last year, especially with withdrawal study going on, right? That's, you know, those things change how we may have to manage ourselves, right? And it might not be to that point yet, because we don't know what the determination is. But I think that based on some of the all of the changes that have occurred in such a short period of time, and there are over 1,000 bills at the legislature, although I think they've wiped out, what, Ryan, about 700 of them maybe.
Such a revolving door, it's so hard
Yeah,
to keep up.
There's a crap
It's
ton of them.
insane, it's absolutely insane.
And they will affect us completely, 3 of them. So, we probably should maybe do this as we can try to do it as an exercise tonight, or we can take it home and do it as an exercise and then bring it in and discuss it.
What does the group wanna do? You wanna try to get a basic one going tonight or homework assignment?
Homework assignment.
I'm for whatever anybody wants to do.
The only advantage of doing it now is you can have brainstorming session and, you know, you could feed it. You know,
Right.
feed from other people's ideas.
Right.
Is this a shared document?
Not right now, it's not how it's created, but we can make it one. We can absolutely
Yeah.
change that.
But that could be a way to do it as they want.
I'm old school, I do it on a whiteboard, but that's just me. Easier for me.
I don't, if you wanna do it right here, that's fine too. Yeah.
Could we start it tonight and like start the brainstorming and then like reflect on it on our own and see what we wanna add or question, like kind of meet in the middle, maybe, and do a
Sure.
little bit of both?
Sure.
Just for people who are unfamiliar with brainstorming sessions, it is quantity over quality. You know, truly no bad ideas.
Yeah, throw it out no matter what you think
Right,
or where it
exactly.
might fit.
You know, we can discuss just the list later and narrow it down to, you know, how many we think we can work on during the year.
And is this based on just this year? Like this budget cycle year coming up? Or are we trying to project out ahead of it?
It doesn't hurt to project that. But, you know, we can make plans for the ones that are further out. But, you know, we may want to, with the short time that we have, we may want to try to focus on things we can control this year. And then this budget cycle.
Okay, are we gonna use a whiteboard or are we gonna try to do something? I have no idea how these screens work. Do we have a whiteboard somewhere?
What's left of one right there?
Yeah,
Right
okay, like that, that's it. All I need is a thingy. Right on.
Gonna get you a thing.
A thingy, a pen? Okay, cool beans.
I found the video.
Oh,
Oh, you're awesome.
way to go. Clive.
I
I am from presence.
I think we should stay on it for 10,
Yeah.
maybe 15 minutes just to get something big.
Yeah.
Definitely not drag it out for a half hour.
6:45 will. And you might be able to start
Yeah.
with. Where we are and just let's get rid of what doesn't fit maybe.
Do you want me to be timekeeper on the 15 minutes?
Sure.
Um,
Brings us a pen.
Do you want me to be timekeeper once we start the 15 minutes, or are
sure.
we pretty good at just stopping at 15 minutes? I don't know what the norms are for that stuff.
Off topic, but relative to what you two were talking about with the 1,000 bills.
Hmm,
I was at an event where State Senator Ruth Ward was there and she said she's the chair of the
Education
education.
committee, yeah.
She said she would come in and discuss anything with us if we
Okay.
wanted to. I mean,
Like Damon would too, we came to the feasibility study meeting on Monday.
Oh, she was there Monday night, yeah.
if that's something you guys want, I can facilitate that. I imagine I got it with how busy she tells, that woman does something every
When did
night a
they-
week.
Voting on the 3 that really matter.
Oh, well,
Crossed over,
the open enrollment one is coming, and I think that's a big deal, right?
yep.
And I don't know.
Know what 3 we're looking for?
I don't top my head, but I have it
If
written
you tell
down.
me, I can look them up, I gotta
Oh, yeah.
to the thing,
We get a
the
mail to
deal.
us.
Oh,
I'll share it with you.
no, my,
And then we'll just highlight the ones that are pertinent, so
So
you
you
see
don't have
all the
to-
other silly ones that are out there.
oh, the list is mind blowing, I get ones relative to the housing and construction.
Oh, Yeah, that's crazy. All right.
All
right. Do you want to, can we pull that one up on the screen and share it, Kyle? Maybe I didn't send it to you. I'm sorry, the old one? She's all right with me.
These make more noise.
Yes. I certainly can.
Can we send it to Kyle? That's like, are you on our budget committee emailing blast? We should have put you on there. Could you forward the one that I sent out, a copy of it, or this morning or last night or whatever time it was? And then maybe he can just pull it up and then we can look at it together and cross off what we think's not relevant. Is that all right, Jerry? Is that a good place to start? Okay.
Or, oh, I threw out what's your email?
These are massive.
Okay,
No, Kyle, what's your email?
APERHAM.
Found you.
watch me not have added the attachments, guys.
Right. I just emailed it, it should come right up. If you just forward the email.
It's sending, it's thinking about it.
Still something.
That's what,
Says it could not be sent.
it's problem number 001.
Okay, Jerry, refresh my memory, it's been like a million years. Strength,
Strength,
yep,
and then weaknesses on,
opposite side.
I can't get it to some state.
yep, weaknesses on that side.
Yeah.
And then, the
Opportunity and threat.
opportunities. I mean, while I was looking for that, I mean, first one on the strength is a good one, those should be there. BC members' expertise, depth and knowledge, and that's still valid,
I'm supposed to send it out.
sorry, in my opinion.
We'll put up on mine if you want. What you do, got it. Oh, sorry. Oh, worries.
No.
Oh, I raked today, my back's.
So you've formally done that one?
Well, yes, from SAU70 from everywhere for at least a month, because that's the law,
Okay.
28 days.
Then you have to go back, think what,
Well,
Here.
I'm gonna close my own books.
okay,
You
yeah.
don't walk away from your open books and have somebody else close them.
A BCM SWOT,
Yes.
Second document,
Sure.
that's it?
SWOT analysis, yeah,
Maybe, do it on.
yeah, BCM SWOT analysis. Second document.
Yes.
On the strength, I'll just keep going then, on the ones that I like, and commitment of BC members,
These are already on there.
they're already on there.
We're
Right.
restating it.
Yeah, they're still valid.
Oh, there they are.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Right.
See, I would like, and you know, some new staff opportunity to build trust. I don't like that one because that's has to do with, you know, the district, not necessarily with the committee. I don't know how everybody else feels about that. Same thing with educational staff longevity.
I think one that should remain up there is the strong community ties.
Yes, absolutely.
I think what we were talking about when we were talking about the opportunity to build trust was when we were expanding upon our relationship with the school board, but also working with the administration and then, and the A team and all the staff, but we don't have to keep it up there, but just giving some context for people that weren't there.
Right, what else is on here?
Oh, I got one we could add under strengths.
yeah.
I don't know the right way to word it,
That's
but I
right.
think
No,
this
no.
committee, looking at the chemistry of it, has the potential to be really, really, really strong, cause we got a very diversified skill set in this group. Not everybody's from the same industry or got the same MO, we have very
I think
well-rounded.
that was the intent of varied backgrounds of members.
Oh.
Diversity.
I think.
They'll restate it differently.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Diversity of committee makeup.
It's good to value that,
Absolutely.
yeah, and you're not wrong.
Oh, any other strengths? Okay. Anything up here that you wanna keep or not?
I do think that the community values the vote of the budget committee. That last one could be probably reworded, but I do know.
The mandate to serve.
Very valid.
Yeah, the community trust in the budget committee voting.
Yeah.
I guess I sort of feel like that ties into the strong community ties in a certain way.
Okay. How's that?
Can someone who's been on the committee speak to the guidance from the moderator?
Oh, Leroy,
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Is that something that is a strength?
it was at the
Yeah,
time,
it
I
was at
don't,
the
yeah,
time,
I don't think
yeah.
it's necessarily,
Okay.
I mean, if he's there, we need him, but we don't, we haven't reached out to him in a while.
I think we finally got our legs,
Okay,
got our sea legs.
yes.
Walkie at first. And to your point though, right? This was important here. This is fun, huh? This was important here when we first started, cause some folks really didn't understand what the charge was,
Mhm.
right? And what the
Yes.
depth of our ability to make change or affect change was. So that was important. So I'm gonna say our strength now maybe is that we have all the documents that, for newcomers, right? We have what do you wanna call that? We have
Like it's like,
Welcome packet?
yeah, or like, yeah, welcome packet orientation materials.
orientation materials. That's a strength now, because we didn't have that when we started,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
And we were really struggling as a group, you know, with the fact that we didn't make the decision about what books you're gonna use in reading class in 8th grade.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
We didn't have the ability to say, you know, ban these books in your school. You know, so I think that from that first year that was a little bit rough, we kind of went, okay, we maybe gotta regroup and figure out what our charge is. So, so that's part of that.
Yeah.
Do we still think staff longevity is a strength at the school levels?
At the school level it is, but I now hearing what
Mm-hmm.
Jerry's perspective, I don't know if that.
It's
is
relevant to
strength
us.
A budget committee, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, so this is for. Okay, got it, yep. Gonna go to weaknesses?
Sure.
Okay. Where are you at?
It's number one, isn't. You think that's still valid?
I don't know that we have a lack of trust between the two anymore. We might have depending on the committee member or the group, we might have how to say it.
There's differing opinions,
There's
but
differing opinions of whether or not they're capable and competent at their jobs. That's a nice way to put it.
That's not a weakness.
right, so.
It's not,
I don't think we have lack of trust in
No.
no, I don't think that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
There, but
We could probably still have number two.
yeah, I think that's.
That was the better way to put
Yeah, better
it.
way to put it, yeah.
Number 2 could definitely stay on.
I imagine tight timelines is still a thing.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
That's, yeah.
Can we put that, can we tie that together? Lack of complete information
Yeah,
for decision making on it in a timely manner?
yeah.
I would say that the next line should be deadlines are not consistently met.
Speaking on that, did you guys, everybody got the email from Garrett about the meeting that we had with Missy and Deb?
Yeah.
Yes. I did, and I read it, and I forgot what it said.
And I've been taking maximum advantage of it.
Yes, you have. I was actually gonna cover all your action under,
I'm not done yet.
yeah, but I was gonna go over,
Don't put the form out there unless you.
I was gonna go over that and, reports from the administration or, no, communication to the school board. I
Okay.
was gonna go over that.
I was gonna bring it up tonight, so.
I was gonna go over mine and Amanda's meeting under reports from the administration.
All right, so ability to clarify requests to admin,
I think that's now.
we're better.
From a weakness to potentially a
A
strength
that we
because
know
of
how to
that.
ask for things.
Well, and that form that Misty has created,
I think it's good.
it's,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help us in streamline. And kind of takes what we had tried to do last year with the tracker. That, and actually makes it work.
Okay. Okay,
I also think that the information request, the new Paul procedure might take care of the lack of time to review materials.
Yeah.
mhm,
I mean, obviously, if we get information, if it takes too long to get information out, it's still there, but the administration has taken a very serious step in making
and I think
information flow.
we've tied that in here.
Yeah.
Really,
But
you know,
now, the unfortunate thing is you've got the feasibility study.
That's right.
request
So
related to,
that's-
a lot of people wanting.
in my mind, that's a weakness, the
Yeah.
feasibility study.
I think,
Yeah.
I think it's a threat.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's both.
Oh, we were informally talking before the meeting how it falls into threat as it could be just another, I know I keep saying time sink, but till something happens, we could end up in a rabbit hole we don't even need to, so it could be a serious distraction.
Yeah, this
I
would
think-
just be, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was gonna say, from my perspective, we gotta put blinders on to the withdrawal committee.
Yeah.
Somewhat even the state laws that could change. We have a budget as we see it today,
Yes,
Yeah.
right? And then if we get too many things around us that could happen,
Yeah.
right? You wind up going down these circles that.
that's what I wonder about the timeline. Are we looking just to this year? Or are we looking?
Just-
Yeah,
Yeah, and here you're like this
Just-
again, right?
In March, they could vote to disband the budget committee.
Exactly,
Right.
and is this not another one of these,
I think it is.
right, the feasibility study, because
Yeah.
depending on who you are or where you are.
Yeah, right.
It could also be an opportunity, right?
It could be all of it.
So really, I think the feasibility study, depending on,
Crosses all categories,
yeah.
depending on who you are.
not strength, I don't think, but it does hit these three.
Definitely.
And in here, it's not necessarily a weakness, it's a weakness because of the time constraints
Right.
for the admin.
Exactly.
Although a lot of what, it may not be, because it may be a strength. In a weird way, because what they're asking for is also relevant to what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, so you're saying it might make, it might get stuff flowing faster, because they're
Exactly.
going to give it to the withdrawal
That's
study,
right. Because they're
Because they have
asking for
to,
similar.
because they got a hard
information.
deadline.
That's right.
But I still think I would keep it out of strength or weakness and then would be an opportunity to threat. Because it's not something that we do, it's not like what we don't do well or what we do well. So that, my thought,
Okay,
but to your comment, it could be a threat or an opportunity.
Just for transparency, I'm also on that committee. That way.
It's good.
yeah, you.
Get out there so you know.
Yeah,
like,
Amy.
I'm not, I can't be because I'm at
about it,
large.
Just FYI, so I was like.
Yes.
Don't put it out there, just- I'm on this one.
I don't think our weakness really, with that new staff, we've,
I don't think it's gone away.
I don't think it's gone away, but I don't think it's as prevalent as it was. It's,
Okay.
we can still leave it, but we have, this is, what, is this Laura's second or third year? Third,
Going into third, I think.
right?
But
So,
to be changed, lack of leadership at the top of the SAU.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring, aren't we about to maybe hopefully potentially get a new superintendent, maybe not?
You all start praying really hard, cause there's 7 openings in state of New Hampshire right now.
Oh, geez, I'm crow.
But I think the work, changing the wording is important because we don't know, that is a weakness because we.
That's why we have administrative turnover, right? I mean, like,
Maybe that's where it belongs, I don't know.
under threats.
It could probably go both. It creates a weakness because you don't have continuity, right? So
Right.
maybe it's lack of continuity in admin. And it's a threat because your open positions at top level. For position reason, right? Because that's the only one I know of.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if this is relevant because do we care as a budget committee? I would think so, but I'm asking.
No,
For guidance.
I was thinking that only because going back to last year, not necessarily open positions at the top level, but just open positions in general.
Correct,
We accounted for that in the budget.
so that was
So
an
that
opportunity.
could be an opportunity as
Yeah.
well.
See, when you do the SWOT analysis and we're pointing out weaknesses. It should be the weaknesses of the budget committee.
Yes.
It's not weaknesses of the administration necessarily.
Well, but it
Would be quite-
creates a weakness for us if there's no continuity, doesn't it? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know, that's why I'm a little struggling
So-
with it, because we're really not looking at the weakness of the budget committee. We're
Well,
looking at the weakness of this whole ball of wax.
To
So-
me, it's this weakness, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
of the
Jane, go ahead.
Process, right? Of the
Yeah.
process as a
yeah,
whole.
Yeah.
because, and we've seen it with, cause how many superintendents have we?
Yeah,
put
no,
on?
I-
Right, so, but it's a weakness because superintendent number one, we got information one way, superintendent number two, we got information a different way, and then didn't get information, and then.
Number 3, you have no
superintendent-
idea yet.
Right, so when I'm thinking of. Yes, we can't control whether or not we have an interim superintendent or a vacancy in superintendency, but. When we're thinking about process and where the team gets their direction from, the team being, the A team, but the
no.
administrative team.
That's why I didn't think it was so much staff as it was leadership at the
Yeah,
top.
so that's,
Oh, okay, see, we can put leadership, you want leadership instead, better,
For me, it is,
That'll
that's
work.
really where the problem is, right? For the most part, unless the troops have a good guidance.
Yeah.
good
Lack of stable leadership.
leadership, yeah, any of that. Kind of thing, because that's really what's going on there.
Okay. Right.
it's consistent, stable leadership,
Yeah.
right? Because we're not saying, we're not
We're not
disparaging.
saying Debbie sucks.
Exactly.
No,
but that
no,
she's not going to stay. We know she's not staying.
Right.
So it's not consistent.
Yes, for you.
no.
And people get used to one routine of doing things and then someone different comes in. And then just like when I think about, I like how it says leadership because that also, if you think of like the bigger ball of wax, right? It is also affecting so many other parts that also will affect us when it comes to like what budget line is paying for what and what that looks like.
I mean, a new superintendent could come in and say, I don't like zero-based budgeting.
Mhm.
And wanna do it a different way. I mean, it's possible.
Yes, and that could make our jobs harder if they don't share information, but we can do it whatever way we want.
Right.
We might not match up with what they're doing, so you might get results like this.
In there.
Yeah. Yes, we have. All right,
Um,
it's 10 of 7.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
totally.
No, that's
Okay.
okay. Do we wanna finish it? I mean.
I think this is rolling. If you guys wanna go till 7, I mean, this seems very productive.
Yeah.
Unless somebody objects.
Yeah.
I think we should
I think
complete
let's
it.
keep going, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do then, just as a 2-second, I'm gonna take a photo of this. I'll reset it up in a shared doc, okay? And then you can review it and stick in whatever comes to your mind afterwards. Then we'll wordsmith it and stick it where it needs to be.
Perfect.
And
To just go right ahead and add to the
Yeah.
shared doc.
to the shared doc.
I would like to keep as a threat the financially strapping taxpayers and
Yes,
Thank you.
because I hear that all the time.
yep,
I'll echo that for, even though I'm at large, that's just the word on the street in Charlestown.
And it's not even like I hear it in Akron, I hear it from other taxpayers in other towns.
it's the district as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
And
with the opportunities to change. To change all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
There's laws that we can try to get laws that are already on the books that could affect that line drastically. Right? We can vote as a community or a district to cap budget. To the rate of inflation.
uh,
You're talking about a tax cap, RSA, a tax cap warrant article?
No,
No,
I'm just
the-
saying that in general, right, that we have an opportunity as a budget committee to suggest other ways. Of budgeting or other ways of, I don't know what the right word is there, Jamie, but
Okay, so I'm gonna go from what you all are
Yeah.
saying, okay?
yeah, it's better.
I thought you were gonna, when you said change in methods, I thought you were also gonna talk about, the change in the methods, like reviewing.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're talking to the articles of agreement?
Yeah,
Yes,
The opportunity might be for the budget committee to suggest. Say suggest, because we don't have the authority to
Right.
change it, but suggest. Different ways of. Saving money or allocating money and cost, because it goes back to what we talked about last year with some of the. Reserve accounts,
mhm,
that there should be warrant articles to try to change the way they're being used. Because
Sure.
they're not being used.
adjustment.
Adjusted, and so that's what I was trying to get at, that that's an opportunity for this budget committee. To be able to suggest different ways of doing that.
Right, because there's some that are written in such a ways that can't be used at all, right?
That's what I'm suggesting,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing, I mean,
Right.
Ball Mountain, no one has agency other than the public. It's
Right.
not like SAU60.
Yeah.
So all of those reserve funds that are sitting there can only be used if we put a warrant article on to change either the agency or yeah,
Can we add a
the reason
future
and why they're there.
agenda item to review that and make a suggestion?
Or review the articles of agreement?
No.
Review the,
Reserve,
Oh.
reserve fund.
I put that question into the portal today.
I don't remember which reserve fund is written in such a way that it can't be touched, like, there's no reason to touch it at all. But if we can look,
well, there's,
Several.
there's several.
yes,
they're all written with specific purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, and so. With the specific purposes, they're all also written that you can't touch them unless you go into default. So they're default and their specific purpose. So like the health insurance.
that's
one.
where I was gonna go, the health
That's the
insurance.
that's the biggest
Yeah.
one, right? Cause
Right.
we had $1 million a month in health insurance costs. So that's sitting at, I think, $900,000. Well, you couldn't draft from it unless health sent you into default when we were self-insured and it was insurance that sent you there. So it's a two-prong, same thing with special ed reserve. You can't use it unless your budget is total goes into default.
Right.
Cause the purpose is, you don't deplete your reserves just because something happened, right? You curb your spending in
First.
order to cover the issue before, depleting your rainy day fund, right? Okay, what else on the two bottom ones?
Still strategic planning, we talked about the board retreat, Deb made mention about, Deb and Alyssa made mention of the retreat with the budget committee and the board. Which I think goes to building relationships.
So is it the opportunity is to work closer with the board during the budget process?
Yeah, and to, kind of open that communication, because, yeah,
Yep, I agree.
If I'm writing anything you don't agree with, just holler when we word it, okay?
We can do more concurrent budgeting instead of each working on our own.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
exactly.
I'll put something on the threat so you can disagree wholeheartedly.
That's all right.
I think the deliberative session is a threat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I
I would agree
you,
with that.
Holly.
And for
Yes.
transparency, I propose to the state to change the rules of the deliberative session.
Really, for cooperatives or just in
The
general?
cooperatives and all deliberative sessions.
So that's funny you say that, because we don't live that way.
Yes.
SAU70 doesn't live that way. We don't have one
I
because of
love
the
that
interstate
idea.
agreement.
So
So we set the budget and that's it. Nobody gets to friggin' change it.
Oh, really?
I
Yes.
got there and I was like, what do you mean we can't change it at deliberate? I was like lost. I was like, oh my God, I think they're doing something wrong.
Wrong, oh my gosh, it's wrong, it's wrong. What did you
Anyway. just a,
No,
just a
no.
side.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think the deliberative session is a threat to.
Yeah.
to the
Well,
budget.
Yeah, one of these sessions, a mob's gonna come in
Right.
and go, oof.
Usually it's the opposite.
I'm aware of that, but at some
I've
point,
lived through so many of these, right, where I'm just hoping that it will hold and then everybody, just swoops in with special whatever and slams the shit out of
The
them.
problem with the
It's
deliberative.
part of the
session,
reason I left my job here.
There's not a representative quantity of people.
Exactly.
You got a handful of people that make
Make the decisions
the whole
Yeah,
Right.
right, yeah,
cooperative.
and I mean, as much as all of us would probably love to see a lower budget, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine how the admin would do their job and the staff if the public, which rightfully so, if they did,
Yeah.
And
came in and just whacked the full 10% out that
So
they're
do you wanna
allowed.
know the last time that happened? Interestingly enough, Garrett, was 2008. It was my first year as business administrator. The budget committee slashed the budget $911,000 and said, I don't give a shit where you find it.
Was that almost the whole 10% they were allowed to whack?
Well, it was,
well, the
you
budget
know,
committee can cut as much as they want.
exactly.
Oh,
So-
it's the
Budget,
general,
it was-
the deliberative
it wasn't-
session and,
It wasn't this, it was the previous budget committee.
yeah.
It was the last time we had one.
Yeah.
And they slashed it, like, just picked the number. I think they probably had some discussions about the number, but it was a weird number. It was like 911,000. I'm like, okay.
That was the
Yes.
year I was hired.
Oh.
That ties into the financially strapping your taxpayers and also why this budget committee has so much faith with the community, though. Those all tie together, though.
Yep,
In the
absolutely.
reputation here.
Yeah, we got voted back in, which goes to the mandate to serve, right? So
Yeah.
the district voted.
Because the year after that, they voted it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought was interesting, anyway. Either way, I mean, we were still watchdogging what was going on. Part of the worst problem you deal with, and there's a whole session about this. That I won't even go into because I've trained on it so much, is government mandates. Government mandates put so much costs into your budgets, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so,
Going at threats, I still think that we have more historical knowledge, but I don't know if it's a threat, turnover of budget committee members, second one from
Oh.
threats.
here,
Yeah, lack of historical
I
knowledge.
don't think that is anymore.
No, I don't think
We're
you're
pretty
right.
solid here. Budget methods, we've talked about,
Yep,
I think that's still a threat, but did we say, we put it here, really?
yes.
The feasibility study is kind of the methods and the threat, right?
Yep, administrative turnover is still, it's there with the leadership one.
Yeah.
Lack of transparency and communication with the community. I think that
We're better.
we're better, and I think that the administration is better, but
Mhm.
I get confused because I get the communication from the administration on my SAU email. I don't, but I'm not getting it from, as a parent, on my personal email, so so I feel like I'm more in the know, but I don't know if that's a valid,
And is that a one that for us, or is that a one that we want to share with the administration?
yes, that's not for us.
That's 10 minutes this way right now.
I think our transparency pretty good.
Yes,
So, I mean, that could be, you know, a strength.
you're right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our, how we arrive at our numbers and what the decisions that we make, our transparency is a strength.
So I've got a suggestion and I just tossing it out there. I don't know where it would go, but a lot of this, even with warrant articles, everything, it's very confusing for certain families and just people in general, like reading, like everything gets so wordy the way it's like the way the articles are. So I don't know if it would go anywhere or if it'd be our responsibility, but if there was a way that we could find to like explain it in like very few words, almost like a flow chart kind of thing. What was that?
Budget mailers would be better.
But just
It
something to
depends
be
on what
like,
she's talking.
I'm talking about like how, like government mandates,
Mhm.
how those are, that's how
They're
that's
written.
like, how they're written and also like things that are out of our control.
Mhm.
Oh, so you're not talking about the warrant article?
No, I'm talking about like when you look like big picture at how everything's presented to the public, it's really, it can be really overwhelming.
And can change really quickly too, so it's hard
Yeah.
to keep up.
Yeah, there, it's like, it's a big, it could be a big conversation that isn't.
It's a weakness and a threat. So it's lack of understanding, right?
Yeah, understanding just all the like all the parts that go into it.
How the budget building and sharing of costs works.
Yeah,
And we
Yeah.
do it, we've done well at the deliberative with the presentations, but
Other
that,
than somebody telling me it was too friggin' long, yeah, but I
but
can
that's,
explain it.
that's the point, cause you can't explain it and it's supposed
It's
to be.
complicated.
So
Right,
it's kind of interesting that you have a plus or minus a $40 million budget. And we boil it down to a 1 hour budget hearing
Yeah.
and a deliberative session that I have a hard time with the whole deliberative session process, but I think that the weakness is that we're not communicating to the community often enough during the budget process.
And what about the strategic plan item that's up there? Is that, it says it needs to be updated and followed? Are we following it here? What's going on with it?
So 1 second. So is that our well, we can do that.
We could do that, but I think it's a weakness in our world as well, because
Okay.
we didn't communicate. And I don't think we communicate enough to the public during the budgeting process, right? We could hold more informational sessions during the process. Because again, we're asking voters to vote on something of $40 million plus or minus in a very limited number of people that show up at the budget hearing. And then the deliberative session, which is again, just have a hard time with the deliberative session in general.
People only have so much bandwidth though, to try, get communication.
Yeah, it is. They just try.
So, but it is a weakness.
It is.
So maybe we can look at this and report out. I need to do a better job getting minutes done right away so they get posted, right? Or report out don't they send a weekly bulletin from the school district?
I don't know.
Does SAU send a weekly bulletin?
I get not SAU, no, I get I get the Vilas Middle School newsletter and then I get
Specific by site.
the Alsted, and then we get APS.
We could send out hey, this is what we've been working on, little blurb blast.
That might be, and that could also be the opportunity to explain like a fun fact for like that one, like.
And or put those, not just email, but maybe also include them in the Walpolean and the community,
Yeah.
the community newsletter in Charlestown, I'm sure
Right.
Alsted and Ackford probably have those. Yeah.
We do, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think we do.
probably not.
Alsted does not.
We should start one.
So send it to the
You
town.
volunteer.
Okay.
And that was a good thing.
I think that looks good.
So
What
the
else?
strategic plan,
Yeah,
Oh,
does it exist? What's going on?
there's an old one.
It's on the website.
Here, try to,
I love that you just did one at SAU70.
I don't know, I guess that's why it's in my brain and theirs, they're in the basement street.
There is one, it's on the website.
Yeah, it's old, it
And
needs to be
I-
updated.
Yeah,
We were
and
gonna
I'll
start doing
encourage you to
it.
look at the last
Yeah, time it
strategic
was
goal.
done.
I
Like,
thought
put
that
that on
Deb
the list for
had
future
told us,
agenda items to review.
I thought that Deb had told us that
Well,
there was an updated,
Usually
a
school.
more updated one, so.
Whatever their plan is to.
It was not done that way, I don't believe, where it's not like SAU70s. It's not done in that manner where it has actionable items attached to it in a 2, 3, 5-year plan.
Their goals aren't,
Have not been updated and the board was gonna do it. And
they're not
then,
like curriculum based or.
no, and then
whatever.
all hell broke loose, right? So.
So,
Had 3 superintendents in 3 years. It's kind
Right.
of hard to do a strategic plan when you don't know who your leader's gonna be.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That's a weakness.
It is a
it
weakness.
is absolutely,
Sure.
but we should also put a budget committee member on that committee when
Yeah,
that happens.
believe me, it's a thorn in our chair's paw.
Oh, well,
So it's the one that you find when you scroll down on the website
I
is
think there's a newer one.
2016 to 2021.
Oh, isn't it,
Probably reasonable.
That would
might
be,
be,
I mean, if you think about the timeline of when
right, COVID
Lori,
hit
when
20,
COVID hit, when Lori left.
yeah, and then 3 superintendents later, yeah,
So
probably, yeah.
just for fun, you should look at the last goal.
Okay.
okay, now you got.
We can poke holes in everybody's administration, can't we?
It says what we should have been doing.
Does anybody wanna sneak anything else? We've moved the goal line 2 or 3 times as far as
No.
time.
Have we gotten through them all?
I feel like we have, not trying to rush us out of it.
No.
I think this is still important.
Yeah. And we did do, now we do, zero-based budgeting,
Right,
Mhm.
so,
that's good,
so is that's,
that's on the opportunity, so that's good. So that's,
okay, but yes, to your point, Garrett, we can look over and add whatever later, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, if you guys wanna keep going, that's fine, this is great, but I just,
I think we captured the
I'm
essence.
sure everybody doesn't wanna be here till 8 and get to the end of the
oh my
agenda.
God,
I'm
Ben,
I mean,
you've gone later.
At home and then
Yeah, I feel like we'll review it and add to it a little bit next time we meet. Maybe not as in depth, cause I think we just did a bunch of it.
yeah,
I mean,
pretty good.
yeah, it should be a live document where we do review it more often than we
So
did
we'll
last.
put it on the
Yeah.
shared
Yeah.
drive, make sure you all have access to it.
Yeah.
And then you can pop it in and out and or make comments as necessary.
We should end up, coming up with action items for the opportunities and threats, so we can, exploit the opportunities and, try to avoid the threats.
Okay.
Maybe we can make a list of action items next month when we review
Yeah.
it.
Next month or.
Oops, not in a row.
Or it gets in
Yeah,
soon, because I'm
not set the can
September,
down the road till next
October, we're
February.
pretty darn busy.
Okay. Okay, awesome. All right, where do you wanna go next?
I think Kyle found the thing you were looking for, Jamie,
It's, how many?
or is it way too long to dive into right now?
We could be here till 8 tonight.
No,
Let's,
can you,
do I have a motion to table that till next month?
can you
Yeah.
unforward that to
the
me?
next meeting?
I'll second that.
It won't be tonight.
That's okay. So he'll forward it to me and then I will pull it down and edit it to just the pieces. of it.
Yeah.
I'll snip it to where you're at the way.
Okay, good, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so that's tabled till next month if nobody objects. Okay, so reports from the administration, I don't have one.
You were gonna talk about Steve's.
Oh, well, I was gonna cover mine and Amanda's meeting with Deb real quick. So as everybody saw in the email I sent out, Amanda and I met with Deb and Misty. One of the main purposes of the meeting was to go over the, request for information that Misty set up. Steve's already using it a boatload.
Oh, good stuff though.
Yeah,
Is it relevant to our work here or is it
Absolutely,
relevant
no, it's
to?
relevant to.
withdrawal?
it's kind of made it streamlined, I think it's gonna make a lot
Okay.
Misty's job easier, but not
I mean,
scenery.
I say what I asked for, I guess.
Yeah,
I asked for what the projected surplus was gonna be for the end of the school year. I was told that I couldn't have it until after it's given to the school board. Which is now the May 25th, I think. In that process, I discovered that Deb had sent me a very responsive letter right away, which I thought was great. Referring me to the website, so I had an opportunity to look at the website. The website hasn't been updated since January. Which I think is another problem, but outside of this budget committee, but.
It is a problem for administration to keep up with the website, the manner in which we do it.
Yeah,
The school board really needs to address that and it's on
Yeah.
our radar.
yep,
I'm just gonna answer that right now. It's on our radar because we don't use board docs, and as somebody on the committee who deals with all of that, having to do it with Google platforms and drives while you're an AA to a superintendent is just ridiculous. And so the school board needs to take that up and do it right.
yep, so I responded to Deb, and just said, by the way, the website is like really
It is,
far behind.
there's no backup for her either.
I asked that the as voted budget get put onto the drive. Because we only had our draft,
For the MS-22.
so they sent one, I haven't had a chance to look at it completely, and today I asked for an accounting. Of the reserve accounts, how much was in it? What the restrictions were and I'm not sure what town is holding, I think Charlestown holds all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure
Yes, they do.
that's correct, but I asked that just a simple spreadsheet, bump, and that's it, so those are the three things I asked for.
With the as voted, did you want it, the expanded one? Cause the MS-22 just puts it all.
No, they gave me the expanded one,
Oh,
all
okay.
15,000
Yeah,
lines or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
that's. it.
1600.
Whatever it is,
It's-
it's just a real big
Yeah,
document.
It's 4,000.
I don't know. it's a
Oh,
big
really?
document.
I scrolled down the bottom, and only got up to like 6.
I
I guess I didn't look hard.
haven't had a chance.
I didn't look hard enough, I guess.
That's the 110 page
Yeah,
document,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a few things that I have just
Did
questions.
she give it to you as Excel spreadsheet?
Yes, because I requested it as.
So can I ask a dumb question? This is me as a committee
Yeah.
member. So is it posted in our drive,
Yes,
our
Yeah.
shared drive? Oh, okay. So everything that we're requesting is
Is
being
going
posted
into
in
the
the
drive.
drive. Good.
yes,
Is Misty doing that or are we doing it once we request it?
So the way it was explained to us is when we put in a request, like what Steve's done, it
Mhm.
goes to Misty and Deb, and then. It logs and does the organizes stuff on their end, and then they can send it off to whoever the expert is, if it's not really them, and they got a way to keep track of.
Yeah.
Where they sent it, who's
it was,
supposed to
it
follow
was
up.
very well done, whoever thought
Yeah.
it through, I mean, I got a thing back right away that said, your request has been cataloged or noted.
I'm very optimistic
Yeah.
that it's gonna help information.
I
flow.
think so.
Oh,
But I believe, and if
So.
it's not the case, that Misty should be putting all of the budget committee requests into the budget committee
Shared
folder.
drive.
They are, because I printed off I've seen every one of Steve's requests.
Okay, but all of the documents that come from that go into the folder, not to Steve individually, because then,
Mhm.
I
And I
think
think
I
that's
pulled them
where
off the drive.
so.
Okay, yeah, that was
When
my
I
question,
started
like,
looking
how do
for
they get
answers,
the drive?
the only thing that didn't go on the drive was the email from Deb.
Yeah,
That said that
yes.
you're not getting the information you wanted
Yes.
by your date because something happened with the school board meeting, got shortened to a half hour. Because of the
Yes,
withdrawal,
because of the withdrawal.
withdrawal committee meeting,
Mhm.
and then said it would be on the 25th.
But I mean, she got right back to Steve.
Yeah, it
in
was-
2 days.
Yeah, it
2
was,
days
yeah, it
from
was,
what her
it
request is.
it was reasonable.
So it's not like we're hearing
We have a
crickets
full
chirp.
finance department now, so it might be helpful.
Maybe.
So you had a question?
I did. I want to know that we're not going to do multiple requests for the same information if one of us isn't monitoring. You used to be that one of us monitored the requests, right? Now it's just open forum, go for it?
I don't know.
That's fair point, so that we don't overwhelm them.
Well, I mean, now that we know what
Work.
Steve's already asked for,
I
right?
mean, if we,
I just don't want like two of us to walk away from a and so obviously they're gonna monitor it probably.
I'm thinking
'cause they'll
Misty will
see
kick it back
right?
and say,
Okay.
no, Steve or.
It's already
when you
been-
start digging
think
around
most-
in there,
Okay.
one of the folders inside the drive almost had all the requests and responses in it, so we can
Okay.
kinda.
Yeah.
See what
So
somebody
maybe
else has
just-
been up to.
Review what you wanna request, maybe to make sure it's
Yeah.
not already being worked.
But it works fine as far as I'm concerned. It went in, it came out and I got an answer. It's nice. It says,
Something like that at the town. I have a question for you later.
I'm willing to do it.
Um,
I'm easy. But there's a nice space on there that says, when do you need it by?
Nice,
And
Yeah.
I will not put it in that I need it tomorrow.
Right,
You know.
Yeah.
gotta be reasonable.
You gotta be reasonable. So I've been giving it like 10 days to get the information back.
Oh, that's cool.
We can also start it this way too, and then if we get feedback from administration
Yeah.
that we are,
Sure.
not going, things aren't going as well, then we can rein that in as well.
I saw it as an opportunity to try and see.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you tried it, cause I had nothing off the top of my head to
Well,
recall.
I've still got more to go. I can do one every day if I wanted to, but
Yeah.
I won't bury them. I know the feeling of being buried with stuff.
Something else Misty said she can do for us, but that's not set up, is she can set up a link in the drive where we can. Put our agendas and meeting minutes in and somehow magically post right to the website, does that?
Yeah,
That's how
that
it was
needs to
explained to
happen,
us.
yeah.
Instead of sending it to Misty and then, yeah, so
So we
it's,
could do it live
yeah.
and it will hit.
And then we can take this,
I really want
it's
to
not
buy
that
the
you just,
software that does this for us, but yes, that would.
Yeah.
it would lighten the load slightly for Misty.
Yes,
As far
yeah.
as, even though I'm sure it doesn't take her long, but I mean, I can't.
Actually, it's labor intensive
Oh, it is?
to manage a Google Drive with stuff pointing all over the place. It can be.
Yeah, it's not good.
So that would be cool.
Yeah, we could do that.
So do
I
we
don't-
wanna request that gets set up so that we can start playing with it? As far as communications to the school board?
Yeah, nice.
I just don't know how it works, so I have a little bit of reservation cause I don't wanna put something out there and then be like, oh no, I wanna pull that one down. Like spelling errors or something,
You
not
have to
like,
have the ability to retract.
yes, so I just, like, you know what I mean, like. Open meeting is an open meeting is an open meeting, so
Right.
that, not that we're not gonna put anything on there that
Right.
people don't
Yeah.
already have access to, but, if we spell something wrong, or, if Amanda puts the wrong date or time on an agenda, I don't want that going on the website.
Well, but you should be able to,
Can edit it.
You
I
can
think we're
edit
gonna
it
be able to
live.
go in and edit it.
Yeah.
With how the link
Google
sets up.
document, you just edit it. Okay. Even after you
If there's
Yeah.
any type of,
Because you're
Google documents, so
Right.
it did.
it's a living, breathing document.
Yeah, so it's.
So you drop it into the folder and then you're like, oopsies, and then you go back into the folder, open it,
and then
fix it, and then it will
just-
refresh it.
All she's gonna do is hook the link from the web page
Yeah,
to the folder.
I see. Okay, that makes more sense. Got it. Yep. Okay, I'm better now. So.
A little anxiety there.
Yes, I don't want things to go out that. Yeah, that are not perfect, ready to go.
Deb also stated in this meeting that the administration will probably begin working on the budget the week after our meeting, so I think the admin has started at this point, because that meeting was a few weeks ago. And then the last part of the meeting, my email makes it sound like I did it, but Amanda did a great job conveying to Deb how getting some financial stuff sooner and better, even if they're a month behind, would be so beneficial for us. And if Amanda wants to
Year to date.
elaborate on that.
Yeah, so we talked about, year-to-date actuals, and even if it wasn't year-to-date, today is May 14th, so even if it wasn't to today, but it was to, the end of April, if we could have had, the actuals to the end of April, understanding that from the chain that they wanted to go to the school board first, that's fine, I don't have a problem with it going to the school board first if that's how it needs to go, but getting some sort of process in place so that we are not, or not that we are not, but that we are getting this information more regularly so that we can then look at the end of the year, okay, this is what we spent year to date actual, and then that preps us for the budget come October, November, because we are going to already have an understanding of the ups and downs and where are the overages and where are the underages, how do you like that language?
That's okay.
And
Plus the deficit, yeah.
right, so and so we can already have those questions kind of formulated and instead of kind of
Thinking
going
about-
in blind, which I feel like the last couple years, we've been presented with the budget and every time it's just like we're going in blind. And so Deb said she's gonna
So
look at it.
I think if the. I think. I gathered from Deb's response to me when I asked about the surplus. That the intent is that if the website would be up to date, which I believe, I agree with Jamie, I'm sure they're gonna address it. Then we can just go there and see the presentation from Deb, which would give you the most up-to-date financial information,
And that would be great. We
right?
just want
That
that,
makes sense?
So I can't speak to this administration. I can
Yeah.
speak to what I'm used to having. And that there are ongoing discussions with our current administration.
Yeah,
And I'll also interject as a business administrator. The BA is not the accountant, right? You're doing 5 departments, so you are not the person processing payroll, AP, all of that stuff on a daily
Right.
basis,
Right.
right? You are looking at that data, usually monthly, right, to see if there are anomalies, or something's going on. So as long as the committee's public, whatever, because those will become public documents, understands that the surpluses that are running are not set in stone until you scrub all of the account lines
yes,
to be sure, because Fall Mountain is as is the one I was at and many others. Fall Mountain is what do we call it? Decentralized
Right.
accounts payable processing system, right? So we vest in our principals the authority to spend their budgets, right? And even though you're approving the purchase orders every single day, somebody either at the principal level or at the finance level, depending on how it's set up, how decentralized it is. You hope people put stuff in the right account numbers, right?
sure.
exactly.
But they're not perfect.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's exactly
So,
right.
so things happen, and so as long as those come out, we realize that until it's scrubbed and handed off, it's a work in progress, right? It's a snapshot in time that may or may not have coding errors, if you will,
Right.
right? So that's the only thing I'd say from a business administrator standpoint. And so I think that's absolutely doable and it's helpful.
Yeah.
I think now that they've built their own budgets and fixed their accounting systems so that they understand how they're running, from decentralization into the office, because there was changes in personnel, that we should be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did talk about too.
And yes, we do post them live on the site where I
The-
come from.
The idea that understanding that it is it's not scrubbed, it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
come the end of April, you could have one line that is over by $30,000, and then come the end of May, it's now under, and that's because a payment hit or a bill.
PO might have been
Yes,
canceled,
or whatever.
project didn't happen, I mean, there's a
So-
million different reasons why.
So
Right.
our
Right.
our focus can be hyper fixated on line by line, but that might not, as a committee,
Right,
it probably won't be as beneficial as looking at the whole. And so,
or by object or by
right,
function. code,
Exactly.
right?
I've seen some really great stuff come
Yeah.
out over the last
Yeah.
6 months or 8 months.
Yeah.
It just, that it doesn't come out consistently, and
Right.
you can't see it consistently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think I think in the meeting we had at the end to kind of debrief it,
Mhm.
there was one document that came out that was just like, just repeat this document. It's like, it's like,
Yeah, which is, she was, Lori Schmidt, for the public, because we are being taped, was, she was using different versions to see what
what was gonna work.
what was
Right.
gonna be most
Yeah.
beneficial.
Right, but sample that I saw, which is
Yeah.
perfect for what I was looking for, is, are we in the right direction, is it directionally correct?
Mhm.
right, where are the trends?
Yeah,
And,
what's going on?
yeah. So, but it's good, it was a good meeting, it was-
Oh, and then, like Amanda had mentioned, Deb had brought up the working with the school board at one of them retreats in that meeting as well, so. I've heard it twice,
Yeah.
so I definitely feel there's intentions to have some good collaboration between the committee and the board.
Yeah.
So I will, put that on my report to them to maybe send out a doodle poll to come up with some dates, right, that might work. And Alyssa may have already done that. I missed the April meeting. I was in Tulsa. So, you know, but if there's any weeks that you absolutely know you won't be available, if you wanna just like send them to me, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a poll around some of that stuff. Okay.
Moving on to, does anybody have any new business to bring to the committee?
No,
I can't remember.
Got a couple items on the list for future agenda items, circling back to the 1,000 bills in the state
Mhm.
house real quick, do you guys want me to reach out to State Senator Ward, because she's the chair of the education committee?
Why
Or
don't
do you-
we see where, you know what, if you wanna reach out to her, I think would be helpful to ask her. When some of them, let us get you the numbers,
Mhm.
okay, that I think will directly impact us. There's a couple of co-op ones too that, yeah. And so if she has an idea of when they're gonna actually vote on those. And it could be in the NHSAA filing, I just, the email, but I haven't looked at it. So that would be helpful if she knew like when she thought they were gonna have a vote on them. Or not, maybe we
Yeah.
don't like it, we wanna tell her we don't like it. I don't
She
know.
said she was willing to come in here and sit
Yeah.
down with us.
Yeah, where's she from? What,
I think she's quasi local to us, cause I bumped into her
Oh, is she?
at
yeah,
different things.
she's on our ballot, she's on,
Is she a senator or representative?
State senator.
Senator, okay, no, she took Molly Kelly's. Oh, she must be Cheshire County.
yeah, she's been there for a while.
Yeah, I know, Molly's been gone forever, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Sorry.
Love
Wasn't
Molly.
born.
Hearing nothing else on new business unless somebody wants to sneak something in real quick. Communications to the school board.
We have the retreat. And then eventually, not yet, but eventually the SWAT. So it's not ready yet. I think that we present it to them after we come back next time and kind of finalize it, and then we send it to them. Jerry, do you think that's good?
So currently, we have nothing pressing to communicate.
Except for the retreat.
The retreat, yeah. Which I will,
Jamie's working on
I
that.
will
Yeah.
take that on to the May,
25th.
that's, oh, yeah, May 25th, no, 26th.
Okay, I thought you said it was the 25th.
Did I put it down wrong? I might have been reading the wrong thing. It's the 26th, because the 24th is a Saturday.
Yes. 26th, isn't that Memorial Day?
Oh, yes, it
Sounds
is.
like-
So
Yeah.
it'll be like 27. I forgot Memorial
I
Day.
can tell.
Yes, cause
Yeah.
5/27 is a,
It didn't pop up. Okay, we'll fix that on the
25th is a Sunday.
calendar. Don't worry.
No, I think it's accurate on
Is it?
the school website calendar,
Okay,
cause I just was like, why are they meeting on a Tuesday? And they're like, oh, Memorial Day.
okay. I didn't look at the school one. I just did it off of my phone. So mine's wrong and Missy will fix it, I'm sure. Sorry, on 27. 4, 6, oh, this.
Anybody with anything else for communications to the school board before we move on?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
According to the calendar, the next meeting will be on June 11th at 6 P.M.
Here,
Yes,
When is last day of school, do you know?
the 13th.
They, it sounds like they decided to count hours.
Yeah, they did.
Which was, it's wonderful.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, favorite moment.
Friday.
I move to adjourn at 7:32 PM.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect.